Welcome to the Prumihimo YouTube channel. This video is the third in a series of 4 where I show different placements for the beads on the Prumihimo disc. And this video is all about triple beading because we have a triple row of beads. If we look at this bracelet, you can see we've got beads on either side, the large green ones, and if I bring it a bit closer, you can see I've got some little tiny gold beads in between. But if I turn it over, nothing on the underside. So that's smooth against your wrist. So that is triple beading on the patented Prumihimo disc, which was designed by me, Prumihimo, to help braiders and to guide them through the steps of a traditional Japanese braid, which has a straight structure, which allows you to put your beads in straight rows. In previous videos, I've shown single beading, which is this, and you've got the wide spacing and the narrow spacing. So this is single beading. We've got beads on a single side of the braid. And here we've got a double row of beads, so this is double beading. And here I've chosen to do it as the narrow spacing, like this one, but I could just as well have done it with the wide spacing. So that brings us on to the choices I have made for this braid, which is the triple beading. And what I've decided to do here is to have beads along the sides with the narrow spacing and have the wider spacing in the middle. But I can just as easily have them in between if I wish to. So for this setup, what I need to do is to have beads on the top and bottom cords at number 3. And also, if I just turn my disc to number 4, you can see I've also got beads at the top at number 4. And for this braid, I only drop in beads from the top at 4. At 3, I drop them in from top and bottom. Let me show you what I mean. You need to know how to braid on the Prumihimo disc, and you need to have the regular setup. Your satin cords, top and bottom at 1, and top and bottom at 2. Your beading cords, top and bottom at 3, top and bottom at 4. So off we go. Top to bottom, bottom to top, bottom across at number 1. Round to number 2. Top to bottom, bottom to top, bottom across. Now at number 3, this is where I'm going to drop in a bead from both the top and bottom cords. So when I do my top down move, I drop in a bead, press it into position and make sure it stays in that V. Bottom to top, I drop in another bead, and I have to make sure that stays in that bottom inverted V. And don't forget the bottom across move. Now I turn around to number 4. And remember, I only drop in a bead from the top at number 4. So when I have the beads at the top, that is when I drop in a bead. So I have them there now. I'm going to drop in a bead. Again, it must stay in its top V. Bottom to top, bottom across. And if you look closely, you can see those 3 beads sitting there. So I'm going to repeat that. Top to bottom at 1, bottom to top, bottom across at 2, top to bottom, bottom to top, bottom across. Number 3, I drop in a bead from both the top and the bottom. Notice how I use my thumbs to make sure they stay in position and keep a close eye on them. Bottom across. And now I'm round to number 4. Remember, I'm only going to drop in beads from the top at 4 to make sure they're all on the same side. So when I lift this cord, there are no beads because the cords swap over in each move. So they are now on the bottom, and I'm not going to drop any in this move. So top to bottom, bottom to top, bottom across. And that completes the second sequence. But now that I've done that, you'll see that those beads at 4 have now moved to the top chord. So in the next sequence, I'll be able to drop them in. And that will give me my sequencing like that. Narrow on the sides, spaced out in the middle. If I wanted to put a bead in between, what I would need to do is have beads on both chords at 4, but still only drop in when from the top chord. This is a really versatile type of braid. It gives you all sorts of options. You can play with lots of lovely designs, but still have a nice smooth back to your bracelet for when you're wearing it. And that particularly applies to something like that, that's got quite sort of knobbly little beads on the top. They sit on the outside, underneath, nice and smooth. And here's another example. So I hope you've enjoyed that. If you have, do please subscribe to my channel, and then you'll be notified of when I have new videos to show you. So thank you very much for watching. Goodbye.